Should you mount a light on your gun or just carry one in your hand? That's the question. And in this video, I'm going to give you some information to help make an informed decision. But first, a quick reminder. We have a gun giveaway going on right now. You can enter for free, but it ends really soon. So just click the link in the description below to reveal which brand new gun you could win. I don't think anyone would argue that a weapon-mounted light isn't, in a technical sense, the best way to operate a firearm in low light conditions. Having a light attached to your handgun certainly will give you the most secure two-handed grip. However, if you're a private citizen drawing your handgun in a low light situation, facing another individual who you haven't yet positively identified as a threat that justifies the use of lethal force, a weapon-mounted light could result in serious legal implications. So let's talk about some limitations. Based on my own experience as an instructor and through my conversations with other instructors, there is a rise in the amount of weapon-mounted lights on handguns being used by students at classes. To be clear, we are talking about students who are just everyday citizens, not law enforcement officers or military personnel. When I ask students why they have a weapon-mounted light, their typical response includes identifying an unknown target or positively identifying a threat, aiding in searching a home during an invasion, and controlling recoil. Don't get me wrong, I strongly promote that if you're carrying a handgun for self-defense, you should also be carrying a light to identify potential threats. However, the key word here is potential. When the light is attached to a handgun, you won't be pointing just a light at a potential threat. You'll be pointing a handgun as well. In most states, pointing a handgun at an individual is a crime in and of itself, unless you end up being forced to fire in defense of yourself or someone else. I can't think of a good reason that I'd want to be pointing a firearm at a target I have not yet identified as an imminent threat of serious bodily harm or death. Pointing a light with a handgun attached also goes against the most important firearm safety rules. Never point your firearm at anything you don't intend to shoot. From a tactical home defense standpoint, I don't recommend clearing or searching your home if you suspect a break-in has occurred, especially not with a weapon-mounted light for the reasons I stated above. And yes, I'm fully aware of castle doctrine laws and how they work, but coming around the corner of your kitchen and pointing your handgun at your teenage daughter, who decided to have a late-night meetup with some friends past her curfew, would not be prudent. Or what if you come around the corner and discover 3 armed burglars who decide to shoot at the light which is attached to your handgun, which is located in front of the center of your chest? The best tactical strategy for dealing with possible threats in your home is to be in a hard corner, behind a locked door, and on the phone with 911. Any gunfight you can avoid, you are guaranteed to win. As for using a weapon-mounted light to control recoil, I would suggest you either find another handgun and cartridge combination that you can handle, or work to improve your grip on your existing handgun. One final disadvantage of a weapon-mounted light is where some of its controls are located. If you're searching a house or dealing with an unknown threat with your handgun drawn, it's important to keep your finger well off of and above the trigger. A typical reaction to a startle response is to close the fingers of the hand, and when you're operating a weapon-mounted light, your trigger finger could possibly not be in that safe, high register position. And you are, after all, in a situation where a startle response is likely and could result in a shot being fired that's not justified. There are better ways. I believe that if you're carrying a handgun for self-defense, you should also be carrying a flashlight to identify potential threats or even disorient a real threat. There are many excellent handheld lights available on the market today from companies such as Surefire, Streamlight, Phoenix. Whatever you buy though, train to use your handheld light in combination with your handgun. There are many great tactical flashlight techniques. The Rogers, the FBI, the Harry's, the Chapman, the Ayub. The list is substantial. Most of these techniques are focused on searching with your flashlight while you're holding your firearm in your other hand, therefore relying on shooting one-handed if you identify a threat. I prefer a technique that allows me to draw my handgun with my strong hand and mate it with my offhand that contains the flashlight. And as I would suspect with you, a two-handed grip allows me to control my handgun much better. Such a technique was developed by Matthew Graham while he was going through federal air marshal training in 2001. Graham's technique allows the most solid two-handed grip on my handgun while I'm employing the light. If you choose to have a weapon-mounted light, always make sure that you have a handheld light as well. The weapon-mounted light will work, but the handheld light allows you to search without pointing your loaded flashlight, that's the pistol in your hand with the light, at your target until you're facing a deadly threat. Carrying the light in what we call a hammer grip allows you to search. You can keep the light up away from you if you want to do that, or you can help to stabilize your gun in a nearly two-handed firing grip and use your offhand light to basically double the amount of light you are dumping on your target. This allows you to make sure that you are clearly identifying what you see out there with your handheld light, and then the extra light you're putting on there disorients that person to make sure that they can't see clearly when they're looking at you. Like the old saying goes, 2 lights is 1 and 1 light is none. A handheld flashlight is a very important piece of your everyday carry kit. A weapon-mounted flashlight is something that's good to have just in case. Want to know the 3 biggest mistakes when carrying a handgun? Then click on the video next to me to reveal all 3 mistakes. Mistake number 2 may shock you. Everybody has their own cardinal rules for what they're going to do when they're carrying a gun, but right now I'm going to give you 3 things that you must never do